Newcastle 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Pretty routine in the second half for Newcastle. Big story here. How much trouble is Ange Postecoglou in, yet to win as manager of Forest?
A lot. And with each loss, the pressure increases on Postecoglou exponentially. And listen, going to St. James's Park and losing 2-0 is not that big a deal. But it's 7 games. It's 7 games for Postecoglou. And if you want to take away the first 2 results, which were Arsenal and Swansea in the Cup, I believe it was, the rest of those games, I'm not sure there's a lot of excuse for Postecoglou. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of wiggle room. You can't be losing at home to Sunderland, at home to Midtjylland in Europe. Added to everything else that was going on. Now you come up against, albeit, as I said, going to St. James's Park is difficult for anybody. But just kind of given how things have gone so far, each result is more and more worrying. And now you've got 2 weeks to kind of let that settle, or let the pressure kind of take its toll on you before you have another opportunity to try to redeem yourself, to try to break this ridiculous record. That's when you fall off a bike, the best thing to do is get back on as quickly as possible. Nobody wants to lie around on the floor for 2 weeks thinking about how do I get back onto my bicycle.
Well, they've got a few bumps and bruises from falling off that bike. It's Chelsea next, by the way, and not since John Baines in 1925, just off the top of my head.
You were
as a
there.
permanent Forest manager, gone winless in his first 7 games. I'll just double check that with the staff, but I'm sure it was John Baines.
It's all right. It's fine with me. I'm convinced.
Good Dr.
I'm convinced,
Hislop?
Mark.
That's very good.
Mhm.
Must be the hat today. Newcastle, Voltemada scoring again. The first player to score in each, off the top of my head, of course, of his first 3 Premier League home games for Newcastle since Shaka Hislop was there. 1996. Was there any decent strikers at Newcastle in 96? I can't think of any.
Might have been 1 or 2. Voltemada wonderfully taking penalty, and to be honest, I was giggling a little bit from the time Bruno Guimaraes goes down for the foul penalty given. Guimaraes is writhing around on the floor in agony as he does. Voltemada just goes, picks the ball up. He couldn't be less concerned with Bruno Guimaraes. He just picks the ball up and he's like, I'm taking this. As if to dare anybody else to do any different. Poor old Bruno Guimaraes still writhing as we speak. Voltemada steps up. And to be honest, what a penalty it was. And then all of a sudden, to our discussion about Nottingham Forest and Postecoglou, you go from Nuno Espirito Santo, who is very, very disciplined, I'll say, very defensive in his setup with Nottingham Forest, to Postecoglou. You want to feel trying to get this Forest team to play more attacking. You feel that was his mandate. All of a sudden, it was only after maybe that second goal that Forest started to play the kind of football that you associate with Postecoglou. That being said, of course, you've got to take chances. You've got to throw caution into the wind. You've got to push players forward. Because before that, I don't think they did. And that was the kind of conflicting thing about watching Forest up to that point for me. You know who Postecoglou is. You know how he likes to have his teams playing. But at no point before then, you would be able to tell that from Forest's performance. And now you have this team who are built to defend, who are built around being disciplined and doing a job and making sure you have a shape defensively. Under a coach now who wants to press high up the park, who wants to play with a high defensive line, it's you're not sure what you're getting or what to expect as a result. And I'm saying that as somebody looking from the outside. I'm half wondering if that's exactly the issue for the players at this present moment.
Well, it's square pegs and round holes for Forest, but Newcastle don't care. They're up to
Nope.
11th in the table, and Voltemada scoring in his first 3 home Premier League games, becoming only the 3rd Newcastle player to do so since, of course, football was invented in 1992. to your former teammates, Sir Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer, with the other ones. Now, Crystal Palace have lost for the first time since 1978. Quite the run. Quite the run. I mean, they've finally been beaten. What is it here? Newcastle again, April 16th. Goodness me, 19-game unbeaten run. But Everton had Jack Grealish to thank late on for a bizarre goal, but hey, he scores it, wasn't it? And now Everton are saying on their bio on their social media, Grealish for England. It's been quite the run for Palace. They are just a dangerous side. Munoz scoring back-to-back games. But Everton, you could see at the end, I think there was 8 added minutes and the referee played like 13 and a half. And goalkeeper Jordan Pickford was going crazy as if to say, come on, ref, hurry it up. The celebrations at the end told the story. And Everton up to 8th, Shaka. That's a good win for them.
It really is. And this was an incredible game of football. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Crystal Palace are a very good footballing team. And you saw that. On the one hand, you want to say maybe there was a challenge by Gahey on, I can't remember who, very early on. No, you've got to forgive me, Mark. I was trying to watch 6 games all at once, including Barcelona away to Sevilla. Gahey had a challenge on I'm trying to remember who it was in the first half that I thought quite easily could be given as a penalty. That being said, the attacker didn't appeal, didn't make any kind of, he wasn't. He didn't know any better, so you give Gahey the benefit of the doubt there. But then Crystal Palace took the lead, and you want to feel deservedly so. And then Everton, at times the camera kind of panned to David Moyes on the sideline, and he looked a defeated man. But Everton never down tools and kept plugging away, and even at 1-1, continued to play on the front foot and got that second goal. You're right. I'm not sure how much Grealish knew of it. To his credit, kind of anticipated where the clearance would go, and got himself in that position, and then got the little bit of luck as it comes off the underside of his boot straight into the back of the net. But Everton thumbed the underside of the crossbar as well, so it quite easily could have gone straight in. And in the end, you have to say, give Everton their due. They probably earned that. That being said, had Palace scored at the other end, I'd probably be saying the same thing, because both these teams are. But it was, as I say, it was an outstanding game of football that really could have gone either way.
Everton just 5 points off the top. I wonder where the Champions League final is next season. Hearts Everton, perhaps, in the final. Just a thought. The final game. What are you looking at me like that for?
Nothing.
This is what football's all about. It's the dream. Our producer, Sam's a Stevenage fan. His team's top of the table. Don't you dare pee on our parade, Mr. Hislop.
We're just waiting for Sam to come on here and talk about Stevenage in the Champions League final. But let's carry on.
They've got to get into the next league above first.
Let's carry on.
They can do that. But hey, that's what this is all about. This is what Bournemouth fans are doing right now. They're like 4th. They're looking at their passports to get into Europe and Champions League. This is why we love football, because it gives us the hope, and then it slaps us in the face. That's why we love football. Was one of the 20 games you watched?
Hold on. You love football for the slap in the face? Is that what I'm supposed to take away from this?
No, it's the hope first before you get slapped in the face.
So many questions. So many questions, so little time, Mark.
Did you watch the power slap on Friday night? I mean, honestly, that's a sport now, but we're not going anywhere near that. I want to end briefly, not by talking for 20 minutes, about Wolverhampton Wanderers against Brighton. 1-1, Verbruggen OG after 21 minutes, and then John Paul Van Hecke after 86. I thought for a long time, that Wolves were getting their first win, but Tony Bloom's Brighton, who's also got Union Saint-Gilloise and Heart of Midlothian, who are also doing well, they got a point, Brighton. Was this one of the 80 games you watched this morning?
It was. Again, I had this up. First of all, Verbruggen, as a fully paid man with the Goalkeepers Union, my heart broke from an outstanding save.
Little violin.
No, even start. Outstanding save, comes off the crossbar and hits him in the arm. How heartbreaking is that? And then Van Eyck up the other end with the late header the funny thing, I'm watching this. I'm like, you could tell this is a defender. He scores and has absolutely no idea how to celebrate. He's just running around. He's just running around, thinking, "Oh, what am I supposed to do now?" But I thought Brighton. I thought Brighton would have battered Wolves, and even after Wolves got the early goal, I thought Wolves were good value for their lead, and in the end for their point out of this one, because Brighton are a team I think very highly of, but I thought all in all maybe Brighton just about shaded it by. I thought Wolves gave a far better account of themselves than I'd seen all season long, and maybe this is if not the result, a performance they can build on, because they matched Brighton in so many departments for so long in this one. They kind of feel a little heartbroken now, understandably, because I thought performance-wise, this was their best game of the season.
It's a point, though. They're only 14 behind Arsenal at the top of the league, and that's why we dream after 7 games in the Premier League.
Look out for the slap.
So Wolves not quite in the European chasing hunt yet, still bottom of the table, but up to 5th. Manchester City after a 1-0 win at Brentford. Shaka mentioned La Liga, by the way. Sevilla beating Barca 4-1. If you're in the United States, the final game of the weekend is Celta de Vigo against Atletico Madrid. I'll be commentating on that one with Casey Keller, another member of the Paid Up Goalkeepers Union, hence the kind of Sunday casual dress today. So tune into that on ESPN Plus. No more slapping around the place. It's about dreaming and daring to dream for Hearts, for Stevenage, for Bournemouth, and for everybody else who wants to dream. We will see you again soon. Bye for now.